Hey guys, Buffer Gaming back bringing another video today for our Blueprint Weapon Series, and today we're going to be covering the blueprint for the Mark 14 EBR, the Icebreaker, as part of the Snowstorm bundle, turning this weapon effectively into the Mark 14 Mod 1 EBR. So again, you can see here on screen, this is part of the Snowstorm bundle, which was available in shop today for 1,400 COD points. This actually is a very themed bundle after the cliffhanger mission in the single player of Modern Warfare 2. So we have the Snowdrift operator skin for Otter. So you can see here, this is heavily inspired by that mission cliffhanger. We even have the ice picks on the back of Otter on his backpack carrying them, just like Soap and Roach did in that mission cliffhanger in Modern Warfare 2's single player. We also have the Icebreaker blueprint for the marksman rifle, again for the EBR-14, turning this into the Mark 14 Mod 1 EBR. Again, this is also heavily inspired, I believe, pretty much very similar to the attachments, how it was run in the mission cliffhanger. I believe you were carrying the Mark 14 EBR as well as an ACR for your two primaries. So not 100% to spec what it is in the single player, but again, very heavily inspired by that. And we also get the operator equip for Otter, you know that, the Danger Zone calling card, the Valor Otter emblem, the Reaper spray, as well as the green snowmobile charm for your weapon for the EBR. Again, heavily inspired by that mission cliffhanger, the snowmobiles that you escape on in the end of that mission to extract. So that is the bundle, again, Snowstorm bundle, available in shop today for 1,400 COD points. And here we see the final design for the weapon here for the EBR-14, turning it into the Mark 14 Mod 1 EBR. So let's go ahead now and we'll back out. I'll build this from scratch, show it compared to the base weapon if you build this not using the blueprint, the differences, and then we'll get into some nice multiplayer gameplay here in realism now that they finally brought that back. So what we'll do here is go to my custom game so I can show you how we compare these two weapons. So first off, for the blueprint here, you can see here we have all the final attachments. So what I want to do is just strip this down to the base blueprint weapon. So we're using the Icebreaker blueprint for the EBR-14, just stripped down with no attachment. So the first attachment you want on this is the lightweight suppressor. This is going to assist with the sound suppression as well as the damage at range being the con for this weapon. So if you're trying to gauge at long range, which effectively this is what this weapon's built for, this is really not the suppressor you want. You want something like either a tactical or a monolithic to increase your damage at range as best as possible. But again, for the blueprint, using a lightweight suppressor, you can see the difference between the default as well as the Icebreaker blueprint for the suppressor itself. So we'll go ahead and select that. Now the barrel, we're going to want the Forged Tac Precision 22-inch barrel. This is the longest barrel available, you can see, versus the other ones here. And this, with the pros, are going to be the damage at range, the bullet velocity, as well as the recoil control for the weapon. The cons being the ADS speed and the movement speed. So again, we can see what the base looks like versus some of these other ones. In the Icebreaker, we get that same white tape on the weapon for the default camo on there. So we'll select that. Skip out on the laser. Now for the optic, the blueprint comes with the variable zoom scope. This is my favorite zoom scope, basically for any weapon that you're trying to use as a DMR or even a sniper rifle, just because you get the toggled magnification. So the pros here, again, are zoom level. We can toggle from 3.5 times zoom all the way up to an 8. The optic glint is visible with this scope, so keep that in mind. So we can have the zoom level, magnification toggle. The cons here being the ADS speed, again, because we're adding that extra weight with the attachment. So you can see the base. And then the only difference here is that, again, we're adding that white tape on the weapon for the default camo. So we'll select the Icebreaker blueprint version of that. Now the stock, again, this comes with the, here we go, the FSS Raider Chassis Pro. So this is going to help us for the pros being the ADS speed and the aim, walking, movement speed. The cons being the aiming stability. So again, you can see the base is going to change the whole lower of the chassis of the weapon here. So you can see the base versus the blueprint option here. So again, it just changes the weapon. We get it all black pistol grip, and then basically the whole lower turns into a black color, as well as we get that white tape, which is consistent throughout the weapon. So we'll go ahead and select that. Skip out on the perk as well as the ammunition. The blueprint stays with that standard 10 round. Obviously, other attachments you have here are the 15 as well as the 20. Now the underbarrel, the blueprint again comes with the commando foregrip. This is going to assist with the recoil stabilization as well as the aiming stability. The con here being the movement speed on the weapon. This, as well as the tactical foregrip, are the only two attachments in game, as well as the bipod for this particular weapon, that aren't going to have a con of the ADS speed. Any of your other foregrips are going to negate your ADS speed, so you're going to take a hit there. But again, with the commando foregrip, you don't take any cons except for the movement speed. And you can see the default versus the Icebreaker, no changes, just minus we get that white tape again. So this is the final design for the EBR-14 for the Icebreaker blueprint. Again, turning this effectively into the Mark 14 Mod 1 EBR. Now, if we look at this compared to the base EBR-14 with the same attachments, what I'll do is go up here and we will, let's see if this, there we go. So here's the base EBR-14. We'll go in here and just view this quickly. So this is using just the base EBR-14 in-game, no blueprints, with the same attachments on the weapon. You can see how it looks here with the same attachments. A little bit more, you just get rid of that white camouflage or the white tape on there. I'd say this is actually very aesthetically pleasing, but as well as the blueprint, there's no real major cosmetic changes. So what we'll do is just swap down from the base to the blueprint so you can see how they compare to one another. So here we go, the base EBR-14 with the same attachments as the Icebreaker blueprint, and then the Icebreaker blueprint. So you can see there, really no cosmetic changes minus the white tape on the weapon, and we get an all-black weapon as well. So we get those tints of the darker brown or almost like light bronzish color on the weapon are going to be turned to all black, as well as we get the black camouflage on the weapon. So that's how that looks. No other changes to the weapon are going to affect the blueprint itself. Obviously, you need all the attachments to keep that consistent white paint, but if you were to swap out the magazine, you can see that's not going to affect anything, as well as any other foregrip or attachment that you don't have. This blueprint is not going to consist of the white tape, but you can see if we just put a laser on how that's going to look, not going to affect it at all. And then if we do the camouflage, because I know a lot of you guys like to see the camouflage on these weapons, just the base, you can see here it's going to affect everything on the weapon minus the white tape. That white tape is going to stay consistent throughout. So something like the pinstripe suit looks pretty nice and consistent with what the blueprint is. Even Nightfall looks pretty cool too. But if you go into some of the Woodlands, it just kind of looks a little weird with that white tape on the weapon. So you really want to keep this just a standard black with the white tape that comes with the blueprint. Overall, pretty aesthetically pleasing gun. Now you can see here as we jump into the gameplay and show off the recoil control. I'm not really the biggest fan of the EBR-14, and I did grab this bundle in shop when I saw it today just because of the weapon leaks that we have for Season 4. And hopefully those are confirmed as we get closer to Season 4. But the one leak that I'm mostly interested in is the Agent K G28. So essentially that is, again, a marksman rifle firing in 7.62. This is the same caliber as this, the 7.62 by 51mm rounds. That weapon I think I'm looking most forward to than any weapon in the game that has been released or came with the base game. So I really wanted to try and get used to a marksman rifle of the same caliber. Obviously we have the SKS as well, which I've already leveled up, but I really have never used the EBR-14 much outside of the old gunfights when I was playing that, when you would get that weapon. So really this weapon, you'll see the recoil pattern here. If you were to just fire this as fast as you can and not holding your breath, it's going to go all over the place. Then if you hold your breath and try to slow down your fire a little bit more, you can be pretty accurate with the weapon versus also just holding your breath and firing as fast as possible. You really need to take a quick break between shots in order to keep shots on target. The recoil on this is very heavy. These really are not the best attachments to help stabilize your recoil and control the weapon itself. But again, staying true to what the blueprint is, we're going to use it this way. And you'll see here just the recoil can get pretty messy and all over the place. It's a little hard to get used to this weapon, especially in game. And then we jump into the gameplay. You'll see me using this in Realism Mosh Pit, which if you've been following the channel, you know that is my favorite way to play multiplayer. And I really haven't been playing any multiplayer too much, except for when I have to. But since they did bring this back, definitely going to be jumping back into Realism. I think that's the best way to play multiplayer, in my opinion. But I have been playing a lot of Warzone. I haven't used this weapon in Warzone, which is really why I bought this blueprint. I want to try and level this up with some decent attachments and use this in Warzone and see how this weapon handles. I know a lot of you were recommending it, so I want to level this up and see how this handles. But you see here, we're playing Domination on Piccadilly, and I'm really camping pretty heavily in that shoe store on that second story and not really playing the objective too much. I took one flag at the beginning, but I'm really trying to just use this weapon as intended, as a marksman rifle. And you can see it's basically a two-shot kill. Since we do have the lightweight suppressor on the weapon, it's going to affect our damage at range. So what could possibly be a one-shot kill with a monolithic suppressor is now going to be a two-shot kill at this range. So you can see as I'm playing this match, I end up getting a chopper pretty easily without dying the first round. Did take a while, obviously, camping in that shoe store, but you'll see just the enemies are going to be running past, and I'll be able to hit them, but again, it's not a one-shot kill to the body. Maybe if I hit them in the head, obviously being realism, it is a one-shot kill, but as fast as the enemies are moving, not getting that one-shot kill to the body really does hurt this weapon versus a sniper rifle. You'll see a quick clip here where I run out of ammo with the EBR-14 and pick up a HDR that someone died with next to me, so I use that, and you can see me just pick off a couple people. Obviously, one-shot kill with that being a sniper rifle and a larger caliber weapon, a 50 cal versus a 7.62. But this weapon, my main concern with this and why I still, as far as comfort level, I prefer my SR25 build over this. And again, I'll have to cover it in Warzone and see really how it compares. But the problem with this is you're not able to rapidly fire and keep shots on target. I'd rather have a slightly less damaging weapon that can fire faster and be a little bit more accurate than take the heavy recoil of this weapon, which is why I still prefer the SR25 build that I have out of the M4 with the 458 SOCOM rounds, just because you can tap fire that as fast as possible and still keep all your shots on target, even at sniper distance, whereas the EBR-14 is a little bit more difficult to control. You can't shoot it as fast, and because of that, most enemies are going to outperform you, especially when you come with weapons like an M13. That one-shot kill is really needed with this weapon, which could probably happen with a monolithic suppressor, so I would heavily recommend that. But again, just not being able to consistently double tap or triple tap and keep all your shots on target, the heavy vertical recoil when you consistently fire too quickly is a little bit too hard to control with this particular blueprint. But let me know down below what your favorite attachments are for this weapon. Give me some recommendations so I can use this in Warzone and see how it handles. I know a lot of you recommended this, so I want to see what the best attachments are for this in multiplayer as well as Warzone, because like I said, I am really looking forward to that H&K G28, and I'm going to be using that. It's probably going to be one of my #1 guns when it comes out, and I really want to get used to a heavy recoil weapon like this, even though the G28 shouldn't have anywhere near the recoil of this weapon. But just getting used to this and trying to match this before that weapon comes out is going to be helpful. Being that it is a 7.62 by 51mm, it'll also help to level this thing up and get used to playing, especially in multiplayer, in the marksman rifle role versus the standard assault or SMG weapons that I would run, or even an LMG. So let me know down below what your favorite build is for the EBR-14. We've done a couple conversions for this weapon in the past, turning it into the M21 and some different EBR-14 builds. Even an M1A1 I believe is possible, so that may be a future conversion video. I don't believe I've done that quite yet, but I'll be getting to that shortly, especially after I level this thing up all the way in multiplayer. Then we'll be covering this in a Warzone video going forward. But let me know down below what your favorite EBR-14 build is. And I'm going to leave you guys with the gameplay. Let me know what kind of weapons you're looking forward to for Season 4. Again, we've covered the leaks. I'm going to go over them more in depth when we get official word. But if you haven't heard, the Vector, the Galil, and the H&K G28 are what's rumored to be for Season 4. Has been data mined by some of the people in the PC files who go through those, and they did find all those weapons. Actually, the Vector and the Galil as the Ace, so the more modernized version of the Galil, is available in-game, I guess, when the data miners manipulate the code and they can make it appear with some specific camo on there and they can actually see it. But the H&K G28, we haven't seen anything for that yet. I don't believe there's any leaked images of that, just minus the art that was found in the data mining. But again, that weapon was in Call of Duty Ghost as the, I believe it was the MR28 is what it was called in Call of Duty Ghost. I didn't play Call of Duty Ghost, but you can look up the gameplay of that. It's a very beautiful looking weapon. I'm really excited to get my hands on that. So again, let me know what weapon you're looking forward to the most, what weapons you want to see, as well as blueprints into Season 4 and beyond. Also, I'm pretty sure we'll be getting that security detail bundle either tomorrow or Tuesday, since I think we've seen just about everything in the COD tracker minus that security detail bundle, and that bundle comes with the Spetsnaz Milsim skin for Bale, as well as the Warsaw blueprint for the AK-47, which looks like it's turning it into a more modernized AKM or maybe an AK-103. So we'll have to see what that blueprint looks like when it comes out. But again, let me know down below, and I'm going to leave you guys with the gameplay. This is the Icebreaker blueprint for the EBR-14 as part of the Snowstorm bundle available in-store for 1,400 COD points. So I'll leave you guys with that. Until next time, Buffner Gaming, out.
Enemy at the shop.
Securing
Enemy near Main
B.
Street.
Friendly UAV overhead.
Enemy at the scaffold.
Hostiles at Charlie, go. Securing Alpha. Enemy holds all objectives. We're taking Alpha. That's it, we've lost the objective. I expect better.